Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about food insecurity via the bird flu. The CDC came out 2 days ago and said 83 dairy cow herds in 9 U.S. states have been infected with the bird flu. Now, this is on the heels of a community member calling Stacey and saying, hey, it's going on in Minnesota too. So we've been covering this for a while, but there's a whole lot more that started happening recently. Go ahead and tell them what the lady told you.
Oh, okay, we'll start with a community member. So today I was talking to someone in Minnesota, and they said that right down the road from them, or a little ways from them, that a lot of the chickens were being slaughtered because of the quote-unquote bird flu, and so were a lot of the cows. And we were having the discussion about that it just doesn't take 1 day or two to grow a cow, so now they're going to be so many years behind actually producing these cows, and they're no longer going to have beef, hamburger, and we were kind of discussing that. And I said, interestingly enough, I kind of am behind the news a little bit because we were kayaking this weekend, and I got online when I first got off the kayak, and I noticed that the World Health Organization all of a sudden came out and said there was the first case that was confirmed of a human in Mexico. So they were gonna everybody's gotta start doing this certain thing again. We're not gonna go down that road because we'll get probably in YouTube jail. And then all of a sudden they retracted it. However, in that time period, if you guys notice, in the Twitter feed, you'll see where I posted it, 149 countries signed on to this World Health Organization treaty regarding all this, where they're going to require all this if something else like this comes out. So it just seems like it's just a step in the direction to see if we go in that area again. However, Mexico pushed back and they said, no, this guy had already pre-existing conditions, so they've retracted it. But what is to say that the next person that they won't try to do that again?
They're looking for a reason.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Wyoming was the 12th confirmed state where they had the presence of bird flu. 5 new cases in South Dakota. Mm-hmm. And on top of what you just said about the news, the World Bank has issued a directive to Western nations to completely abolish farming by 2030. What? Wait a minute. To combat climate change.
Repeat that again.
The World Bank has issued a directive to Western nations to completely abolish farming by 2030 to combat climate change.
To combat climate change. Come on, you guys.
They want to, go ahead.
No, I mean, stop just for a second. Think about that. You want to abolish farming? How do you think we get our food? How do the people think? I was talking to a lady the other day, and I said, we were having this discussion and about all the different things. She goes, well, I just go to the store to get mine. And I'm like, where do you think it comes from? It comes from a farm right down the road. And so if they're going to abolish farming by 2030 to combat climate change, where are we going to get our food?
Well, they want to invest $260 billion per year to cut agri-food emissions in half by 2030. You know, they want to do away with all emissions, and the cows belch and fart these emissions, and that's why climate change, or whatever Al Gore's pushing, and the other ones,
and Gates,
all of them,
and Schwab,
to push their stuff forward. Anything. Oh, there's something over here. Oh, yeah, it's climate change. We got to jump on those and kill all the cows and the chickens. Yeah. Now, this is something I wasn't supposed to talk about. Well, let me finish with this. They want to cut food emissions in half by 2030, require farmers to make expensive infrastructure changes like electric tractors and that kind of stuff. Farmers don't have a lot of money to just be upgrading their tractor that's great and probably that they've been using for a year or two to an electric one that's probably doesn't want to work all day. You know what I mean?
They also want to tag the cows so that they can electronically, whenever they pass a computer to monitor, it tells them everything that they've been injected with. But keep going. That's another thing they've been doing.
This is just more control, more control on the food, and according to what I knew, Harry Kissinger said control the food, control the people, control the energy, control the continents, control the money, control the world. Now, Stacey was telling me earlier it might have been somebody else. We don't know.
I looked it up and I can't prove that it was him that said it, but that seems to be where that gist came from. But anyway.
Now here's the story.
It's a good quote.
That told me probably leave alone, so I'm going to kind of leave it out there.
Boy.
This fella has a lot of buzzards circling him, and I don't want to lose the channel over talking about this, and it'll be fine. Dustin Kittle is an ag lawyer, and he has a farm, and his mother had a farm, and they were in the farming community. They did some upgrades back in 2020, and they got a loan. Well, right in the middle of, well, not in the middle, after about 5 years in, the government loan was supposed to be paid off in 25 years, but they demanded it due right then, 45 days, or we close on you. This is because there was hundreds of other farms involved in the same scheme that he was finding out about. They cut him a deal. He wouldn't take the deal. He had to sell all of his property. He had to sell his house, and I forget how much of his farm to cover the bill. Now, this is crazy, and I want everybody to check out the name Dustin Kittle. I'm hoping the algo's just that slips right by. But it's too important not to talk about. This is a massive pressure on our food supply, and try to meet your neighbor, figure out where they get their food from, and make sure they know where food actually comes from, and do the same for yourself. Yeah. Try to think through it. It's not going to hurt anything to have a little bit extra. You know, if you got a month, get 2. If you got a week, get 2. If you got 2, get 4. You know, it's just common sense, and it's practical.
It is. Nope, it is. Yep, I just did food inventory the other day, and every so often I'll just go in there and say, hey, where are we lacking? Where are our weak spots? Where do we need to kind of catch up if something were to happen? And we were just with some...
It's a matter of when.
We were some really great people this weekend, and I recommend this. Get with some great people. Create a community. Whether you go off and hang out with them, whether it's in your neighbors in your area, we have both. And we just did actually a burger get together the other day with our neighbors. We didn't put it on YouTube because that's their privacy. We didn't want to do it, but we wanted to meet them, and the ones that didn't know each other, kind of introduce each other to everybody. And you've got to have a community. Without that, I don't think you're going to make it through some of the stuff that's coming. I really, really don't. If you read that book, The Second After, or whatever it's called, without a community, you can prepare all you want. I can have all the food that I want, but you will not make it. And that's the truth.
There's something else you want to mention about precious metals. People are emailing back to the price list email, which if you do want a price list, all you have to do is text your email to 318-564-5823.
Yep.
That's Stacey's number, and she'll send you the price list, and you can shop around with it. It's logical to me to try to protect your wealth, just like we do our health and everything else.
It's a premium price list. It's not the spot. The spot changes. However, if you respond to that email, I don't keep all those emails. So after I send those emails out, because I send 2 or 3, 4 or 5, because I've got thousands on my list, I don't sell your email out. I do it personally. So then I delete that email after I send it. If you respond to that email, it goes to trash, and I don't always see it. So if you get that email from me and you want to contact me, please create a new email. Just copy and paste or text me.
The best way is text.
No, it isn't. No, you can talk, text, call, or email. But just don't respond to that email because I miss it sometimes.
I struggle with emails.
I have to go through trash sometimes and find them.
24,000 of them, I think.
He does.
All right, guys, be prepared. Not scared, but have an awesome, awesome day. Later.